This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Queenpin, Part 20, the finale. When we left off, Veronica had said and done everything she could to get Donovan back on her team. And Donovan made it clear that he is now a one-woman man and Veronica ain't the woman. He went to Puerto Rico to get his woman back and let her know that he had handled the Veronica situation. And in return, Maribel reminded him that she could give him something that could replace everything he was giving up. While Donovan waited at her estate to get everything she was promising him, Q was meeting with Weinstein. Plans for the family community in Denton were finalized and they'd been submitted to the land use department. All that's required for them to break ground is security features. So he's connecting with Weinstein to have him reach out to the Lopez family's security architect. And he's prepared to pay a healthy sum to have the tunnels, panic rooms, and bunkers installed and hidden plans drawn up. Just as they finalize the agreement and Q completes the financial transaction to transfer the funds to pay the security architect, he gets a phone call from the hospital. It's about MomBrenda. Her status has changed. Meanwhile, the tension between Stephanie and Corey has come to a head. Corey says, "You're distant and you're detached from this entire process." Stephanie says, "I don't know what you mean." Corey says, "I mean your affect. You're a first-time mother who doesn't even touch her own belly. Our baby moves, no excitement. You don't even track the number of weeks along you are. You don't even talk about the baby unless somebody else mentions it." Stephanie said, "I don't get excited every time the baby moves because I felt the baby move for the first time when I was in protective custody. I got excited then. Do I have to get excited every time I feel the baby move? And just because you don't hear me talk about the baby, that doesn't mean that I don't. I've never been an overly affectionate person. I don't even hold babies. I've never been the mushy gaga goo goo type. And I don't know if that will ever change. Now, everyone keeps saying that everybody's different, that I'll feel different when I get to hold my baby for the first time. But then y'all look at me like I'm crazy when I have my own honest, authentic reactions to this experience. Y'all are expecting something different, but saying something different. I don't know what you want from me, Corey. You asked me to have a baby, I'm having a baby." And Corey says, "You sound like you don't want to be having a baby. Tell me something, Stephanie. What kind of mother do you plan on being?" Stephanie said, "I plan on being a working mother. I don't plan on breastfeeding, and I don't plan on being home long after I drop this load. I'm going back to work as soon as possible. So you either need to plan on hiring a nanny or on being home more. And you should plan on being a hands-on father, because I plan to take Manny up on his offer to replace him in the family business. My training is scheduled to start as soon as my maternity leave ends." Pastor Corey said, "Excuse me, I didn't marry a queenpin, so you absolutely will not take Manny's position or any other position in the Lopez crime family. That isn't something that I can support as a pastor or as an FBI agent." Stephanie said, "I thought you were retiring from the agency." Corey said, "I'm not retiring from the pulpit." Stephanie said, "Then I guess we're at an impasse." At about that same time, Veronica showed up to the estate to pick up the children. The Queen Mother said, "Donovan didn't tell me to expect you." Veronica said, "He didn't? I spoke with him yesterday, and I told him that I was picking them up today." "You want me to call him?" Veronica said. The Queen Mother said, "No, I'll do it." Then she grabbed her phone and called Donovan. When she got no answer, she remembered that he'd called her the evening before. She didn't answer because she was on the phone with Manny. She concluded that perhaps he was calling her to let her know that Veronica was coming to pick up the children. Anytime there was going to be an exchange and she was involved, they both knew that she needed to be informed so that there wouldn't be any funny business. But this time, she figured she'd go ahead and let the children go with Veronica. She figured he was probably out pursuing Maribel and wasn't able to get on the phone. so she'd have a hard time confirming one way or the other, and she didn't want to hold her up. Meanwhile, Angela's in her study. She's on a virtual call with Miss Burney, and Miss Burney is clearly not in the mood. When Angela brings up staffing and the need to replace Rennie, Miss Burney says, Angela, I recognize that this is your business, but as the COO, don't you think that I should have received a heads up before you terminated the warehouse manager? Angela said, well, under normal circumstances, we would have had a discussion and come to an agreement about what to do if there was an employment issue. But it wasn't an employment issue. It was a family issue. Ms. Burney said, and ever since you got tied up with this family, you've been a whole different person. I guess I should be glad that Veronica is no longer involved with Donovan, because who knows how she'd be acting if she was still tangled up with this family. I mean, the man won't even take care of his daughter. Angela said, excuse you? This is a business meeting, not a personal conversation. But since you are raising a personal issue, I think it's about time that I get you together on a couple of things. Now, I've been trying to mind my business, but since you seem to be having a hard time minding yours, how about this? Donovan has paid for every single thing concerning Bella since the day she was born. He even puts food on the table at Veronica's house. So since you've been living there, the food you're eating, Donovan has been paying for. He also gave her a cashier's check in the amount of $500,000 yesterday. But the extent of his support isn't limited to the financial. He's a father. He takes his children to the doctor. He plays with his children. He reads to his children. He's teaching his children foreign languages, how to play instruments. He's a real parent. I get that because you didn't have a father, you don't know anything about that. And since Veronica's father was absent, she doesn't know anything about that. But this is going to be the last time that you say anything derogatory about Donovan to me. And if I hear that you have anything derogatory to say about him at all, you'll be looking for a new job. Do I make myself clear? Miss Burney said, Angela, are you serious right now? Angela said, I'm serious as a heart attack, Miss Burney. Miss Burney said, no. Are you serious that Donovan's been doing all of that for Bella and he gave Veronica that much money? Angela said, no, I'm a liar and I'm just making it up to defend my brother-in-law. Yes, I'm serious. Miss Burney said, Angela, I know you're upset right now, but listen to me. Veronica told me that Donovan refused to help her. I assumed, based on what she was saying, that he wasn't doing anything. I had no clue that he was doing that much. There was no way I could have known based on the way that Veronica was complaining. He was already doing more than I would have expected of any man before he gave her $500,000. I don't understand why she didn't make any mention of that. I saw her last night and this morning. She told me that since Donovan didn't want to support her, she was leaving town. Her and Bella are gone, Angela. Angela said, what do you mean gone? Miss Burney said, gone. As she left, she moved out of Dallas. Angela said, and you didn't think that was strange? Miss Burney said, no. I was in a hurry to get into the office. I thought she was just angry. I figured that she was just trying to teach Donovan a lesson and she would be back because she really doesn't have any money. But if she has his $500,000, she can get missing. When Pops, Andy, and Q hear the Queen Mother scream, they take off running to the sitting room. When they get there, she is livid. What the hell do you mean you're already married? Anya's signing feverishly. I mean, we went to the courthouse today and got married. The Queen Mother screams as she signs, why? Why would you do that? Then she looks at Ron and says, what the hell are you up to? Then she takes off running at him, and it takes Pops and Q to keep her from strangling that man. Q holds the Queen Mother back while Pops takes Ron into the other room to have a conversation with him. When they get in the other room, Pop says, what are you trying to pull here, son? Ron says, listen, like I explained to Miss Bella, we don't need or want a large wedding. We're ready to start our lives together. There's a lot going on right now in the family, and this isn't the time for planning weddings. Pops Andy said, but you took away my opportunity to walk my only daughter down the aisle. You took away my wife's opportunity to play mother of the bride and do all of the dolling up. Can you understand why she's upset and a little suspicious? And so am I. Ron said, yes, but I had to do what Anya wanted. Pops Andy said, this was her idea? Ron said, yes, and she was pretty adamant about it. Pops Andy said, well, did you at least try to talk her out of it? Ron said, I did, but I also had to see where she was coming from. Pops Andy looked him in the eyes and said, there's something you're not telling me. You better spill now. If you want me to help you, keep my wife off your end. Ron said, I'm a lawyer. The best way to keep a spouse from testifying against a spouse is to get married. Donovan just jumped off the second floor catwalk of the warehouse. He landed on the backs of two men and quickly disposed of one of them by breaking his neck with his bare hands. And now he has the second man's arm bent in an unnatural position that is absolutely going to leave him permanently disabled if he doesn't talk fast. Donovan said, where does he have Maribel? Speak now and save your own life and this arm. The man agreed to show Donovan where Maribel was being kept, and he let him up, only releasing a little of the pressure on his arm. The previous day, when Donovan was waiting for Maribel at her estate, Manny showed up. And while they were having a discussion where Manny gave Donovan his blessing, one of Manny's men rushed in and told him that Maribel had been taken.